Hey guys, Joel here, back to the Word, and in this video I'm doing a short book review of this work right here, What Do I Say When? A Parent's Guide to Navigating Cultural Chaos for Children and Teens, from Andrew T. Walker and his wife, Christian Walker. This book came out from Crossway towards the end of 2024. I heard great things about it, and as someone who teaches young adults as well as teens in that age group frequently at my church, wanted to get my hand on this resource, been spending time in it, and wanted to share this excellent resource with you guys and do my review in this video. So with that, let's hop into our normal review segments, and then maybe I'll give some thoughts after that as well. So first up, who is this book for? This is a resource for parents. It's not a book on parenting. It's a resource for weary parents who want to equip their children to live Christian lives in this time in the United States specifically of cultural chaos that we are feeling today. And so it's a helpful resource on essential topics as you disciple and have conversations with your child or student, and it equips you as a parent to be the discipler in your home to have those conversations. So who wrote it? Is written by Andrew T. Walker, who's a professor of Christian ethics and public theology at Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, and then it was co-written also with his wife, Christian Walker, who is also a mom and a teacher at a classical Christian school. And so you can read more about their story in the introduction and why they work together on this book specifically. And I think it really benefits from both of their perspectives into these issues. So what stands out? I'm going to start out with a quote that's on page 1 where Mr. Walker, so Andrew Walker, makes this claim. He says, "You must catechize and disciple your children at even younger ages intentionally, or else the culture will do so unintentionally and with even greater effectiveness." When he goes around talking about Christian ethics, public theology to parents specifically, he makes this statement about being the primary discipler in your home. He says, the next question that I get asked is, how am I supposed to do that as a Christian parent? And this book is not everything, but an essential guide and a partial answer to that question. So what's in it? There's lots of basic and biblical content on 10 very important Christian/cultural issues of our day. Table of contents, they cover human dignity as one of the chapters, so the Imago Dei. They move into abortion, sexuality, a chapter on gender, homosexuality, identity, transgenderism, technology, political engagement. And then the last chapter, chapter 10, is on hostility and persecution. And then they have a conclusion, which is really good as well. Boots on the ground, 4 or 5 more advice things as you disciple your children in your home. So lots of basic contents on those 10 and very biblical content on those 10 topics. Their goal was an accessible, trustworthy, and essential resource for parents, and I think they've done an excellent job. Hop on crossway.org, get the ebook or the print book. I think if you're a parent raising a child, this is an excellent resource for you. And one of the reasons I say that is because of the layout and the accessibility of each chapter. So each chapter introduces the topic. So you start out with a topic introduction about what it is, what's happening in our culture around that, a little introduction to the topic itself. Then you hit what the biblical teaching overview section. So what the Bible says about that topic, usually broken down into some subheadings so you can see some truths, some principles about what the Bible teaches overall on that setting. Those 2 things are for parents. Then there's a memory verse. They talk about most parents are going to use this as a quick access guide, but if you choose to go through this with your family, like 1 chapter a week for devotions at some point when all of the children in your household are ready for such topics, you can use a memory verse that kind of focuses on the biblical truths surrounding that topic. Then they break it down into 3 floors or 3 kind of levels of learning. So the first floor is most applicable to children between the ages of 4 and 8. Second floor 8 through 12 generally, and then obviously the third floor, 12 through 16. If your children are asking more questions that fall into the higher floor, you will not regret moving them a floor higher. So if this, first floor, but they're asking questions in the second floor, they're ready for those answers, you can move up accordingly. And so each of those floors has biblical truths, how you can share those with your children, how you can share them with students, teens, anyone in the church, but specifically for comprehension at those different floor levels. And then they have conversation starters, something that you might play off of as a parent in the car, at home, at the dinner table. How can you introduce and talk about those topics with your children? And I just think that was a super helpful section, and it's in every single chapter on each of those topics. And then finally, each chapter ends with a recommended resources, which I personally, as a pastoral staff member of my church who teach on a regular basis, really love that. I can turn to this, learn about the topic, and then look at what recommended resources they would push and say, hey, if you want to know more about this, here's a great voice on that topic. Finishing out the what stands out, there are full arguments for Christian positions, although they are in brief in this book. One thing they wanted to say is some Christian parenting books will just say what the Bible says and not dive into why that is true and kind of give some argumentation. They do a little bit more argumentation in this book, and I think it's stronger because of that. Also, the conclusion is really good. I believe they give 4 steps, things that they would encourage parents as they apply this and disciple their children in the home. 4 things that they encourage you to continue to do beyond just using this book and this resource as you are the primary discipler in your home. And you will need to teach your children and your teens way more than this book covers, but this is a good essential basic start guide for especially these cultural topic issues and what the Bible teaches. So time, I think that was a little longer review than normal, but with this area of Christian ethics, parenting, a great resource like this, I wanted to take a little bit longer, break down what's in this book so you know what to expect and get it. I actually bought this book for some of my friends for Christmas, for them, to encourage them and their families. And I think I'm totally going to recommend it to our kids ministry director, that I'm going to probably put one in her mailbox real soon, as well as some of our other pastors, because I think this was a great resource to help the church understand what parents and how we can teach, but also a great resource for parents as well. So with that, this is Back to the Word. My channel exists to equip and encourage you to read the Bible, good books, and have conversations that truly matter. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, you know what to do to keep getting content like this. Until next time, continue to read, treasure, follow the Word. God bless, and I'll see you guys soon.